shooting someone else? Should that be something we have to define? No!
Hell no.
In America, on an average day, 96 people are killed with guns. On average, there are nearly 13,000 homicides a year in the United States. For every one person killed with guns, 2 more are injured. 62% of firearm deaths in the United States are suicides. 7 children and teens are killed with guns in the U.S. on an average day. 7 kids who won't get a future. In an average month, 50 women are shot to death by intimate partners. Gun homicides per 100,000 residents in the United States are higher than any other country in the world. And we have no gun control, no regulation on guns in the United States. In Parkland, like Emily said, you could get a gun without even registering it. We have politicians paid and funded by an organization specifically designed to keep people gaining guns. And while other senators or representatives try to fight this, they get called out against. We have such a culture of gun violence, we won't even recognize it when an organization decides to fund killing innocent people, like the NRA.
How is the NRA funding to get innocent people killed? Thank you. Thank you.
They gave them
Oh no. I'll say it.
Guys, come on.
Majority of the homicides are happening in cities that already identified themselves, like Chicago.
Chicago is an example for gun violence. So when we saw the break law or states like Missouri.
All right, everyone, listen up. So, as you know, we've been planning at 10 a.m. We're going to start 17 minutes of silence. And I just kind of like to describe why we're really here. As you may know, the Bentonville High School Students for Safer Schools Association came about because of the atrocity that happened in Parkland, Florida.
Never again!
At Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. And this is the real reason we're here, is to remember those that died there. The 17 lives that were lost of our friends, our peers. That atrocity happened 1 month ago to the date. And that is why we picked today, March 14th, for our protest across the nation. Right now. Across the nation right now, other students are all massing outside of their schools to protest the lives that are lost, and we are going to participate in that. Their names were Alyssa, Scott, Martin, Nicholas, Aaron, Jamie, Chris, Luke, Cara, Gina, Jacqueline, Elena, Meadow, Helena, Alex, Carmen, and Peter. Please, we are going to remember these people. There were not only those 17 that were lost, but also 17 more that were injured. Please take these minutes of silence to remember them and the lives that they have given to us. But not only them, but all of the lives that have been lost in school shootings across the nation and across the world. We are going to use this moment to remember their sacrifice, to remember them, and to remember why we're really here. All right, at 10 a.m., we are all going to sit down at 10 a.m. to remember them and have our moment of silence. At the beginning of each minute, I'm going to be announcing a name, their age, and a little sentence about them so that you can really personalize who they were and really identify with them, because these are our peers. These are students like us with likes, dislikes, dreams, hopes, just like us. Football players, coaches, teachers, students. These are us. Remember, we are not here. One minute. Everybody sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Tell them not to sit in the road.
Do not sit in the road.
All right, no more yelling during the minute of silence. The 7th. Oh,
Sorry. I thought my supposed to start with that.
Across the nation, we stand in solidarity with our peers to remember those lives that were lost in Parkland. We recognize that we are not trying to politicize them, but just to remember them. To remember that they are students just like us. To remember their lives. To remember their sacrifices. Elena Petty was 14 years old. She was a vibrant and determined. She had volunteered after Hurricane Irma hit Florida
but it's intentional and with purpose.
We're not doing that, right?
They've told us not to. They told the parents that they wanted us to stay on the outsides.
Oh, okay.
So. Still coming. Come on, young people. Let the world hear you. Sure is.
I believe it's just not necessary for anybody to have a semi-automatic assault rifle. Hunting weapons, self-defense weapons are completely acceptable, but when you are having a weapon that is designed to be a killing machine, that is not necessary for anybody to have access to unless you are part of a police force or anything like that. And I understand that the black market is also a huge factor in this, but I believe that there should be gun laws to help
sideways so I can see better.
To help increase the kind of protest that they have against violence. I believe that the lack of caring by the government is just unacceptable, and I also believe that it is important that we all stand out here and respect everyone who lost. Yes. How you doing?
Hi everyone, I don't know if you can hear me, but we're just going to do like an introductory speech before we start the memorial. So as we start to trickle in and settle down, I would just like to say a few words before we begin. First, I want to thank all of you for participating in today's walkout. In today's society, having strong opinions or passions and expressing those opinions can be daunting. As high school students, we face even greater criticism as our voices and thoughts are disregarded as immature and inarticulate. But today, we not only show our community the urgency of this issue, we not only demand our voices be heard, but by standing together as a unified movement, as a unified people, we show our community, our representatives, our nation, that we are dedicated to the survival of our future. Together, we demand our voices be heard, that they be respected, and our lives be protected. I'd like to elaborate on why we're here today. Today's walkout is foremost dedicated to honoring the 17 victims whose innocent lives were taken on February 14th. Many died saving and protecting their fellow students and staff, and words cannot describe the immeasurable and selflessness of their sacrifice. But we can honor their lives by educating ourselves on the issue at hand. More than 135,000 students in the United States have lived through a school shooting since the Columbine shooting in 1999. Every week, an average of 136 children and teenagers are shot. Every year, more than 900 children under the age of 12 are shot. 22% or 198 of those lives will die from a fatal shooting. We must put it upon ourselves to do the research and educate others. Our lives are not a political issue. They are a human right. And only through education, dedication, and collaboration can we protect that right. Lastly, I encourage all of you to start your own conversations about this issue. Do not take me or anyone else at their word. Do your own research. Take time to find nonpartisan and unbiased information. Form your own opinions and belief about gun violence and control, rather than blindly follow the loudest voices projected online. Start your own conversations. Start your own discussions. Argue your perspective. Question the perspective of others. But more importantly, actively listen to what each other has to say. It is not impolite to talk politics. But remember, as Harlan Ellison once said, you are not entitled to your opinion. You are entitled to your informed opinion. No one is entitled to be ignorant. Again, thank you all for showing up today and supporting this critical movement. I applaud your empathy and your bravery. But now I would like to direct your attention to our 17 volunteers who will be elaborating more on the 17 victims of the Parkland shooting.
Third is Martin Andriano. He was 14 years old and his brother described him as sweet and caring and loved by all his family.
Fourth is Nicholas Jordan, 17 years old, a swimmer recruited for the University of Indianapolis, where he was planning on attending this fall.
Fourth is Aaron Feist, 37 years old, an assistant football coach. He threw himself in front of students to protect them from oncoming bullets.
Sixth was Jamie Gunberg, 14 years old, a dancer. She is survived by her family and brother Jesse.
Seventh is Chris Hickson, 49 years old, the school athletic director and the school wrestling coach.
The eighth is Luke Hoyer. He was 15 years old. His uncle stated, "Our hearts are broken. Luke was a beautiful human being and greatly loved."
Ninth is Cara Lofren, 14 years old, a dancer for the Drake School of Irish Dance. It was stated that she was a beautiful soul and always had a smile on her face.
10th is Gina Montalto, 14 years old, a member of the Winter Guard on the school's marching band. An instructor remembered her saying she was the sweetest soul ever.
11th is Jaquin Oliver. He was 17 years old. He was interested in basketball, football, the Venezuelan soccer team, urban graffiti, and hip-hop.
12th, Elena Petty, 14 years old, a member of the Junior ROTC, a leadership program taught by retired Army personnel, a volunteer who dedicated time to assist the effort after Hurricane Irma hit.
13th, Meadow Pollock, 18 years old, accepted to Lynn University in Boca Raton. A friend saying, "You are forever."
14th, Helena Ramsey, 17 years old, a relative calling her smart, kind-hearted, and thoughtful.
15th, Alex Schachter, 14 years old, a member of the school marching band and orchestra.
16th is Carmen Schentrup, 16 years old, a National Merit Honors School finalist.
17, Peter Wong, 15 years old, a member of the Junior ROCT program. He was killed while holding the door open as his classmates fled to safety. Right now, we would like to take a moment of silence for the recent 17 victims of another school shooting.
So I think it's very important that we do events like this and that we take action as students, because mass shootings in schools and school shootings are tragic, but they are not the only shootings that happen. Every single year in Minnesota, over 400 people die of gun violence. In the years of the Iraq War, we lost more Minnesotans to gun violence than we lost U.S. troops in Iraq. And that was a war zone. This is supposed to be a peaceful civilian state in one of the securest countries in the world. That means that more than one Minnesotan a day dies of gun violence. That's a family that is torn apart. That's friends that are left heartbroken. And that is a community that will be permanently scarred and will never get that person back. Now, I'm sorry, can y'all hear me? Sounds good. Now, there are solutions to this problem. In the United States, you are 25 times more likely to die of gun violence than if you live in any other modern nation. That's outrageous. There are solutions that work: universal background checks, banning military-grade weapons, and other things like that have saved lives, and they can here. And yet the politicians that have been elected year and year again have not done their job to represent our best interests and to keep us safe. And it's time eventually for us to stop letting them not take action and take some responsibility on ourselves. Because we are the future of this country. And we have a responsibility to ourselves and to our communities to do something. Because when we lose one Minnesotan a day, eventually it is very likely to be one of us or one of our community. And that hurts to say, but it is sad and true, and we need to face that and protect ourselves and our family and friends. So there are two ways that I want to talk about that we can get involved and we can make sure this happens. The first one is the bill that Adrian mentioned earlier. At a government conference a couple months ago, I wrote a gun control bill because I thought that it was something that needed to get done, and because I wanted to see what the response would be, and it got overwhelming.
It's a fundamental right to be able to live, grow, love, build. It's our right as human beings to be able to have that opportunity. There shouldn't even be a debate. And the fact of that there are cowardice administrators across this country who decided to say that they would suspend young people who took their lives into their own hands. Shame on you. We do this not only for these young people, but think of the 9-year-old sweetheart, the 9-year-old who we just lost here in Milwaukee over the weekend to gun violence. This is why these young people are doing this. And the fact that the NRA is actually considering a lawsuit, considering suing the federal government for standing up and saying that bump stocks and sales of assault rifles and the increase on the age limit, you're going to sue for that? That tells all these hundreds, these thousands of young people walking on this track right now, and the millions walking across this country that you don't know their lives. Goals to keep going, sweet. Look at these faces. Look at these young people. There's no joking out here. These young people are really serious. Their lives are important to them. Their lives matter. Gun violence is a public health issue. Absolutely beautiful.
Had to come out in the first place.
I support the cause.
Okay.
Here, we're going to get the student speaker and get started. Where's Brenna? Hi, I'm Aaron.
Aaron, we're going to bring you all down here.
Okay, so we're going to have the members come in. Yeah, Ted Bruce, thank you so much for doing this. It's amazing.
You know, it's Valentine's Day. Nothing's gonna happen. Why should we care? No one knows. So please, when you turn 18, register to vote. If you are not 18, you can still call, write to your legislators, your representatives, congressmen. Tell them that you believe students should be safe in school. There is a March for Our Lives happening on March 24th. It is a
Who you got on my team? We're gonna have Nelson, the mayor. Who put on who's on our side? Who put the list together? Why is it Nelson?
If I could have all members of the press please take 10 steps back.
On March 24th. Step up and join us. Thank you, guys. Hold on. The students who are participating in the 18 by 18 in the auditorium are the first ones to go back inside the school.
Testing. Testing. Testing.
My name is Olivia. Our Constitution, which was founded on illustrious hope, freedom, and prosperity, should serve as an ally for the American people, not present a threat. The right to feel safe at all times, especially at school, is a freedom worth more than the right to falsify protection from automatic weapons. The concept of democracy and self-protection have been manipulated into the justification to own a machine that can kill masses in mere seconds. We can eliminate the threats causing people to own firearms by eliminating firearms. The fundamental idea to protect oneself from violence with violence is where we fall. Not only fall, but create a nation that has caused 135,000 children and teens to be exposed to gun violence in their place of education following Columbine. As a 16-year-old, there have been over 200 school shootings in my lifetime. Our whole lives, we've been placed in the box of too young or generalized as media obsessed. We have lived with the ominous threat of being killed at our schools through our whole academic career. Together, we must work to make the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting the last of its kind. Now, we must work with legislation to make sure that we won't have to fear for our children's lives when they go to school years from now, or when they go to a party, or when they have a pack of Skittles in their hand outside of a 7-Eleven.
Yes.
We must use our voices to fight against politicians profiting off machines that are catalysts for murder. The future isn't Democratic or Republican, it's standing in front of me. This is no longer an argument for self-defense. It is an argument for the value of our lives as a leading generation of America. Thank you.
My name is Brenna Levitan, and I am a senior at Montgomery Blair High School and a proud member of Montgomery County Students for Gun Control. We founded this organization a week after the Parkland shooting to give DMV students a voice in the fight for stricter gun control. We have proven that now is the time for change. I am inspired and empowered by each and every one of you who has walked out today. An hour ago, we stood with our backs to the White House for 17 minutes to honor the victims of the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. We remained silent, hands grasped, standing together as one. What Parkland showed us is that this could happen in any one of our schools. And we as students can't take this anymore. We have to fight to create change. We have to stand up against the status quo, and we have to call on Congress and keep calling until they hear our message. If you can speak, speak. If you can march, march. And when you can vote, vote. Our voices matter. And when we stand up, when we speak out, we make it harder for those in power to continue doing nothing. So no more silence. Not one more minute. Today we are doing more than just taking a first step. We are about to hear from powerful student leaders and some of our elected representatives about the fight for gun control. I encourage you to use Twitter, Instagram, social media, anything that you can with the hashtag EnoughIsEnoughDMV. We want to spread our message much further than just this area. Together, we are taking a giant leap in the right direction. I want to take a moment to say thank you to the national legislators showing their solidarity today. For this reason, I am deeply honored to introduce someone who has been an active advocate for gun control in Congress. Please join me in welcoming House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi.
Good morning, DMV. Thank you, Brianna. Thank you, Brianna Levitan. And thank you to all of the Montgomery County students for your courage to stand up, speak out, and walk out. I'm proud to be here with Yana and Aaron Thoreau. Aaron organized with Congressman Ted Deutsch of Florida, our leader on this issue, representing in Congress the students who have sacrificed so much, spoken so eloquently, commanded the attention of the nation. Aaron has helped organize the Congressional Solidarity Walkout that all of us are honored to be a part of. Congressional Solidarity Walkout. We're all moved by your eloquence and your fearless insistence on action to prevent gun violence. Thank you for bringing your urgency to this fight to the doorstep of America, the doorstep of the capital of the United States. Our Congressional Solidarity Walkout is here to say enough is enough. Whether Orlando, San Bernardino, South Carolina, Las Vegas, Newtown, Sutherland Springs, Parkland, city streets, homes across the nation, there's been too much violence, too much heartbreak. The American people overwhelmingly support common sense action to prevent the tragedy of gun violence. 97% of Americans support strengthening background checks, including 97% of gun owners. What more do they need to hear? There is a bipartisan...
No more BS! You got it?
Yeah.
We want change!
No more BS!
We want change!
No more BS!
We want change!
No more BS! 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 No more BS!
We want change!
No more BS!
We want change!
No more BS! No more BS! No more BS!
Not one more! Not one more!
Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more! Not one more!
Not one more! That's right! Grades up! Guns down! You got it? Yes! Grades up!
Guns down!
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 Last one. Hey Trump, hey Pence, gun control is common sense. Hey Trump!
And I believe that as students, we need to make a few things clear. To start, we will not sit in classrooms with armed teachers. We refuse to learn in fear. We reject turning our schools into prisons. We will accept nothing less than comprehensive gun control. And if it's what it takes, we will shame our national policymakers into protecting us. Not just in schools, but in churches, movie theaters, on the streets, and in the communities of color which are disproportionately devastated by the sickness of gun violence. The lawmakers who fail to support us, those who look for every answer to our nation's gun problem, but the guns themselves, will be complicit in every death that comes after. To every politician sitting in Congress, working behind us, you get to decide who lives. And so, this is not a partisan issue for us. There's nothing cosmetic about life or death. This is about guns, and it's about our morality as a country. When the Commander-in-Chief's solution to this country's gun problem is more guns, you know we have a moral problem in this White House. When national policymakers value the blood money of the NRA over the lives of children, you know we have a moral problem in the halls of Congress. And when this is doomed to happen again, when in the coming weeks and months, more of my peers will be slaughtered in their own classrooms, when their death will be dismissed as collateral, you know we have a moral problem in this country. So let's make one last thing clear. Their right to own an assault rifle does not outweigh our right to live. The adults have failed us. This is in our hands now. And if any elected official gets in our way, we will vote them out and replace them ourselves. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Now it's my pleasure to introduce a senator who has fought for us and fought for this cause for a long time. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
Let's hear it for Matt and his great words. Now, folks, 1 month ago, 17 Americans, 14 children were killed at Stoneham. Let us remember. Let us remember the thousands upon thousands of children who have died at the hands of gun violence. Yesterday, there were 7,000 pairs of unworn shoes here on the east front of the Capitol, representing 7,000 kids whose lives could have been before them. 7,000 kids who died of gun violence only since Sandy Hook. Enough is enough. Now, I've been through these wars. I am the author of the Brady Law and the assault weapons ban. The NRA has made me public enemy #1, and I'm proud of it. And we've been fighting for 10 years. Every time the vice-like grip of the NRA on the necks of some of these politicians has succeeded. But this time it won't. You want to know why? It won't. Because we have you. And together, we're gonna win. 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 Don't give up the fight. We will win. And now it's my honor to introduce a great senator who has worked so hard after it was in his state that the horrible violence of Stoneham Douglas occurred. Your great senator, fighter for rational laws to keep us safe, Senator Bill Nelson of Florida.
Okay, you know we are grieving in Florida, and now you are giving voice to that grief. And when you march on March 24th, it's going to be a visible expression of the grief that we've been through. It's common sense that we should have universal background checks. And it's common sense that we should get the assault rifles and the banana clips off the streets. Keep on marching and keep on speaking out. Thank you. God bless you.
Hello. My name is Nate Tinbite, and I'm a student at John F. Kennedy High School, Montgomery County, Maryland. 25 years ago, my parents immigrated to Montgomery County because they believed in the promise of this country. They told me about their hardships that they faced in their native country. And their education system, one supposedly not as developed as ours, they didn't have enough papers and pencils for the students. Yet through all the lack of resources, through all their struggles, they never had to worry about someone barging into their classroom with an assault rifle and slaughtering everyone in their class. That is an American tragedy. They never had to think about getting shot at any moment. That's an American thought. And they never had to worry that their child would be the victim of a mass shooting. That's an American worry. In the United States, we have archaic gun control laws for a 21st century reality. We've known the solution since Columbine, but despite there being more than 200 school shootings since then, Congress has done nothing. We have to keep weapons of war from everybody and expand upon our mental health resources. The solution isn't arming teachers, nor is it to arm more people. And my parents believed in that as soon as they moved to this country. Together, we will get stricter gun reform because it is the right thing to do. We will expand background checks because it is the right thing to do. And we will optimize our psychiatric evaluations because it too is the right thing to do. Our lives are worth more than the millions of NRA dollars dumped into political campaigns. And on these issues, let me be clear, there is no compromise. We are not seeking a Republican solution or a Democratic solution. We are seeking an American resolution. So let's revive the belief that individuals like my parents had in the promise of this country so that we can remove these profound feelings of fear and anxiety in what should be our safest institution. Thank you. And it is in this spirit that I am delighted to welcome Senator Murphy, Senator Blumenthal, and Representative Esty. Thank you.
Great job.
Good job.
Great job,
Nate. Good work, baby.
How we doing, Washington, D.C.? Let me tell you what happened in my life yesterday. My 6-year-old went to his kindergarten class yesterday and got locked in a bathroom with 24 of his classmates for an active shooter drill. That should never happen in the United States of America. No one should have to go through that. And I just have a couple simple questions for the people here, for the students here who are going to lead this movement. I want to know, are you prepared to do whatever it takes to beat the gun lobby? Are you going to hold every single person in this building accountable for your safety? Are you going to vote out of office the people who take the gun lobby money and put your safety at risk? Are you, the students of America, going to lead this movement to victory? There is no great social change movement in this country that has not been led by the youth of America. And I just have one simple message for you. It is not going to be easy. There are going to be defeats before you reach final victory, but also defining of the great social change movements in this country is that the ones that saw adversity and pushed through it are the ones that we read about in our history books. And so by answering yes to all of those questions, I know in the end that we will beat the NRA, that we will kick out members of Congress who don't listen to you, and we will deliver change in the end.
We have anybody here from Connecticut? We do, great. I'm Richard Blumenthal, and I'm proud to be United States Senator from Connecticut with Chris Murphy, and to be here with Elizabeth Esty, our great congressional colleague. And if it were up to me, I would give every one of you an A. America owes you an A as your grade for today. Now, I'm actually proud of the grade that I got from the NRA. It's an F grade. And the reason it's an F grade is that for 2 decades, I have fought for sensible common sense measures against gun violence. But I have never felt as close to victory. I have never felt as close to victory as we are today because of you, because you have the energy and passion not just to walk out
of school, but to walk into this building and make change happen. That's what it's going to take. So let me ask you, are we going to ban assault weapons? Are we going to have universal background checks? And are we going to give parents and law enforcement the right to take away guns from people who threaten to blow up schools or kill people? We need to remember that change has always come because of young people in the civil rights movement, in the anti-war movement, in the marriage equality movement, and in today's movement. It is a movement. Are you willing to be part of it and fight to the end? Yeah! Well, long after we're gone, you are going to remember this day, and America will remember that you were here. Thank you so much for your energy and passion. We will win. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Elizabeth. Okay, we're going to work.
Testing. Testing. Okay. Can I see this?
Is that one?